Hey everyone, it's your girl Darlencia, and I'm super excited to welcome you to season 2 of Creative Spotlight Unplugged, the talk show. So for this episode, I'm so excited to introduce someone who I grew up with. He is a producer and the heart behind a popular album and group called Road to Restoration. From his new singles, Faithfulness and Kemdi Alleluia, to his journey of faith and family and stepping into visibility. This episode right here is going to shed a light on purpose, legacy, and the power of music beyond the walls of the church. So without further ado, I am super excited to welcome my bro, Jean. Let's welcome him.
That's it. Thank you,
Okay.
Thank you, sis.
Hello. So first of all, I am loving this fit. You got a new jacket. You wanted to show off today?
Yo, one thing about Darlencia, she's probably the funniest girl on this. I'm going to try to be serious this whole interview. All right.
So, we've grown up together.
Yeah.
I knew you when you were like 2 feet tall. You weren't always tall.
Nah.
He was always tall, y'all.
Yeah.
And so, I know you, but everyone else don't know you, right? So could you introduce yourself to us? Who is Jean LeBlanc?
Jean LeBlanc. That's such a crazy question, I'm a husband. I'm a son. I'm a brother. I'm a friend. I'm a musician. I'm a producer. So I'll say that in short. That's who I am. I could go on and on about other things, but I'll say that. That's who I am in total.
Yeah, so a multifaceted individual.
For sure.
Okay. Now, you have a group.
Yeah.
Called Road to Restoration. Let's talk about that a little bit today.
Yeah.
So what inspired the creation of that? When you think of Road to Restoration?
Well, the main thing as far as Road to Restoration, when you think of the name Road to Restoration, I remember in like 2016, 2017, I just wanted to kind of bring a new sound to our culture of gospel music. Mm-hmm. And I also wanted to let people know that, it's okay to serve God too. You know what I mean? It's okay to be young, be in church, and just to love God. And I remember in 2017, I would sit, by my keyboard before anybody would walk into church, and God would just send me different melodies, different arrangements,
Wow.
And I just remember bringing the family together, and we would just record song by song, just release it, just freelance, and just the reception around the world, was so big, and we just kept going song to song to song. And it just turned into a project, which formed into kind of like a family group.
Yeah.
And but since then, we definitely have evolved since. So
I love that. And let's get into the music component of it. What's the message behind this new album, Road to Restoration?
Well, I would say this album doesn't have just one message. It's so diverse.
Yeah.
Like if you want some encouragement, if you need some hope, there's something on here for you. If you doubt that God is real and you don't believe in God, there's something on there for you. If you want to press, if you want to tap into the presence of God, there's something on there for you. If you want to dance, if you want to have a good time, if you want to just be reminded of God's faithfulness, oh man, there's so many messages, but I'll say there's something on this album for anybody.
So let's talk about one of your latest songs that you just dropped, Faithfulness. I love that song, not only because of the message, but because you have one of my favorite gospel artists on that track, Ryan Ofe. So what was the process like putting that song together?
Man, it's crazy the way music works, because my brother, I believe last March, released a record called Without You. It was a tribute to our dad. And when the record dropped, I produced on that record. When that record dropped, I went to go check the credits. And I seen Ryan Ofe. I'm like, Ryan Ofe, it sounds familiar. So I go on my phone. I'm like, I listen to him all the time. This is one of my favorite artists.
Right.
So I reached out to him. Yo, this is Jean. I love your stuff. And I love to send you some stuff. Whenever I can.
Right.
So we've exchanged numbers. He's been so receptive. We've been communicating, throughout that time. And I remember, one night I just kind of felt, led to go in the basement and produce a heartfelt worship record for the album. And I called my brother downstairs. He started playing the guitar progression. I started playing keys. We laid a reference on the record, and we was like, man, Ryan would sound great on this. So what I did is I sent it to Ryan. It's 12:30 in the morning. No later than 3 minutes later, Ryan texts me back and yo, this is crazy. I was like, hey, bro, I'd love to hear your expression on this. So I went upstairs. I took a nap. It was probably no longer than 2 hours later. I hear my phone beeping, and he just sent back the whole record. And I'm in my room just pacing back and forth like 2 a.m.
The whole song, he completed it with the
whole song.
Beautiful, right?
Man, I'm just pacing back and forth in my room like, wow. So I did like a vocal arrangement to it. I sent it out to the team. We flew Ryan out to Philly like, a month and a half later. We did the live recording to it. And that's kind of how faithfulness happened, man. We believe because we've seen God's faithfulness. He drew us out of the pit and gave us a seat at the table. I think that's such a profound statement and message. So I believe because I've seen his faithfulness. So shout out Ryan again. Shout out Sound Decisions. My guy Shag Lloyd over there. But yeah, shout out my brother. It's a beautiful record and probably my favorite.
Beautiful record, and it's out right now. So stream it right now.
As far as Road to Restoration, like, the road, we know that, our relationship with God is a journey.
Yes.
It's a day by day, but knowing that we will be restored with our Father. You know what I mean? But yeah, Road to Restoration, man.
I love it. And it's not just an album. It's really a movement, a journey on how you, elevate in your relationship with Christ and your journey in, being inside of the kingdom. You had 2 concerts.
Yeah.
Don't slide past that.
Not two.
It was 1.
It was 3.
Excuse me. So he had not 1, not 2, but 3 concerts.
Right.
Talk to us about that. I went to all 3.
Yes. So we went from creating albums in studio to actually ministering live in person.
Yeah.
That just kind of shows the growth of the group and the team. Something that just started with family. And as the years went by, different people came along the journey where we were able to go out and minister live. And we love doing so. And that's what we love doing, just being ministers of music, going out there to minister, God, just being ministers of music and just, expressing our way of music and just showing people like, it's cool to serve God. And it's always been a great time. It's always been a great time, these concerts. And I'm just grateful for, what we do and who I do it with. Yeah,
now, can we expect the 4th concert coming soon? Like when are we looking for at that?
For sure. I'll probably give y'all a little date by the end of this video. No, but for sure, it's definitely in the works. It's definitely in the works.
Okay. So some of you may not know, Jean is a sibling of 3 brothers, right? And so there's 4 of you who are all musically inclined. Growing up, I've always seen Jean, for a little background, I grew up in his church and his parents' church. And growing up, I always see Jean in the background playing the keys, right? He always had his head down and just, can the, you know what I'm saying? Like, and just to see how he just expanded himself and challenged himself to make music and he's still in the background, but he's really in the forefront and how he's producing music, putting this together, putting people together, putting the music together. So how does it feel to constantly like kind of be behind the scenes and now you're like challenging yourself to like be in the forefront?
Right. Well, I always felt comfortable, being the one behind the scenes. I think that speaks a lot on my character. Like, I'm somebody that don't like the spotlight.
He's always been a chill guy.
I'm chill. I don't like the spotlight. I don't like attention, but that's just me. Stepping into visibility, I think right now is very important for me because it's not all about like, hey, I want people to see me. It's more so like a personal, like, evolution. Like, it's a personal growth for me. I really feel like every next level of your life requires a different you. So I feel like, this new season, God is just calling me to really step out. Again, it's not because I want people to see me. It's really like personal growth. I'm really stepping into who I am, who I'm called to be, and I'm really standing on that. So stepping into visibility is very important. Again, I don't care about being seen. Still don't care about the spotlight. I'm just fully stepping into who God really called me to be.
I love that because I think when people see like Road to Restoration, they see the album, they see the concert, they're experience the concert, they don't really know who's behind the scenes of that, like who's actually doing that.
Right.
And I remember last year when I did the episode with Friday, you were like, "Yo, sis, I want to be on a show," and I'm like, Jean is not like a person who really likes to be on a camera. And a year later, I'm just so glad that you still accepted the call and that you're doing this. And the world does you deserve for your face to be seen because you've done a lot of work, and we need to know like the person behind.
Right. And I think I think it actually helps our listeners and supporters
Yeah.
really connect with who we are,
Absolutely.
what we're doing, and what's going on.
Yeah.
So, yes, I'm
Now,
up for it.
On that same topic, has there been any inner hurdles for you in being seen? Like, has it been a struggle
No,
in this process of you trying to step outside of your comfort zone and being, more visible?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a struggle. Again, I think it's my personality, my character.
Okay.
I'm just laid back. I just love doing the work. I love doing
Right.
all things, putting things together, producing the records, bringing everybody together. So I wouldn't say it's like a hurdle, but I'll say it's like a characteristic. I won't know if
Yes.
it's called a flaw. I won't know if I want to call it a flaw, but I really don't care about spotlight. I just love being the one to put in the work and, just seeing the fruits of it.
Right.
But yeah, I'll say that,
Well, very interesting. You're on a show that's called Creative Spotlight. Spotlight Unplugged, but
For sure.
all right. So when we listen to music today, right, we understand that music has a lot of meaning, and you make music that inspires and uplifts people.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even really consider your music as gospel.
Yeah.
I would consider it more like inspirational.
Right.
And so regardless of religion and culture background, you make music that uplift people. So why is that important to you?
No, I was definitely intentional about that this time around, like this year, especially with the new project. I just feel like, it's a lot of people in the world right now that's hurting,
Yes.
that doesn't know God and is struggling just day to day and just needs some hope, So just coming into this year and in this new project, I'm just like, how can we give God to the regular people? Like, we'll get to the miracle signs and wonders later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm like, how can we bring people closer to God and give them encouragement that everything's going to be all right? Just a day-to-day individual. So I don't want to limit God. You know what I mean? I was just very intentional, how we put this music together. I feel like it's very important to reach the world and not just, a group of people like our church folks or our community or culture people. But yeah, I was very intentional about that. I think that's very important.
And does that mean that you were intentional about it not sounding like too churchy? Like, we praise you.
Right.
We sung that in church, by the way. But
Yeah. But if you listen to our music, like, I think our sound, what makes us a little different is you'll get that. You'll get the super churchy stuff. But I think what separates us too as well, like, we also have the music that could reach the world. We don't just keep it our renditions with the hymns. I feel like we have a lot of originals, and our style of music is music that has always been able to reach like outside the four walls of the church. So I think you'll get a great diversity from when you listen to us, for sure.
Now, on that same token, is there any way that you can think of where inspirational music could kind of cross over or be mistaken as sounding like secular music?
I could see that.
Or what people label as like secular music.
It depends.
If it's not sounding like, your traditional like churchy gospel music, and it may sound like, it may have like maybe, I don't know, like a R&B type of like undertone under it. People could label that as secular, but it does also help in still reaching like different crowds, with the lyrics still being based on, like.
I mean, I absolutely don't feel like it's a problem if there's like an R&B undertone.
Okay.
But my thing is, what is the music speaking?
What's the message?
What's the message? What's the fruit? Like, there's a lot of artists out there that are not labeled as Christian artists, but when you listen to the record, it's not encouraging you to do violence. It's not creating you to do anything else. It actually uplifts you. It inspires you. And you can hear the fruits of, what they're saying, that they are actually, Christian. They actually are believers of God. So my whole thing is, what is the fruit? What is the message that the song is giving you? Like, I work with a lot of artists that aren't labeled as Christian music, but, the message that they're giving is, it's peace, it's love, it's unity, it's God. You could hear in their music that they have a relationship with God, So my whole thing with secular music, what is secular music? What is the fruit of what the people are giving you? What are they saying? You know what I mean?
I love that. I think that's important to focus and understand on the fruit of the Spirit. Right. And I think growing up in a Haitian church and church in general, as a creative or a person that makes gospel music, or just a person that have a purpose outside of like the church, a lot of ways people that do things outside of the church, sometimes we're kind of like shunned, right? And so, like, in what ways do you think that the Haitian church or church in general has helped or held back creatives and professionals and entrepreneurs who are called to impact beyond the four walls of the church.
Yeah.
Because I know you've experienced some of that.
No, for
I
sure.
definitely have experienced a lot of that.
Yeah.
But talk to us about that.
Well, let's start with good. I think the church is like a free university for creatives. Like you learn everything. You know,
a lot of the best singers and
all your best singers. Who name your favorite artist, your favorite vocalist,
grew up in church,
your favorite musician that's touring right now. All of them will have the same story. They grew up in church. I think church is like a free university for creatives. You learn so much.
I love that.
You learn how to play. You learn how to flow. A lot of stuff is unplanned. You learn how to ad lib. You learn how to transition.
Yeah.
You just learn. You learn everything on spot. So I think, what the church does, it actually builds us up. It builds up the gift to where you can, bring it outside of the four walls. So I'm gonna start with the good. Church does a lot of good for creatives. Like it has helped majority of y'all favorite artists, y'all favorite musicians.
Yeah.
As far as hurting the church, I don't know. That's a tough one, sis. It's like sometimes I feel like there is a limit and cap to what you can do in the church. So I think that's why maybe people, go outside of the church and do what they do. But again, I look at the fruit. What are you doing? Who are you doing it with? What is what you're doing saying? What is the fruit of what you're doing? But in ways I feel like sometimes there can be a cap of what you can do inside of the four walls. So I think, use all the foundational pieces that you gain in the church and just take it out there in the world. As long as you're bringing everybody back to, the heart of what you're doing, and that's God. So yeah, for sure.
I love that. And so would you say like on your album, could we expect to hear artists that may not be traditional, like gospel artists?
For sure. No, definitely. There's a few artists, on my album that aren't labeled
like gospel
artists, but they are Christians. They are people that love God, and the message on these songs are very important and needed in the world for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Sure.
So not only do you come from, you come from brothers that are all musically gifted. And I think that's so beautiful. Just watching all four of you grow musically in your gifts has been so amazing to watch. And so what is that dynamic like? Just growing up with all of your siblings, and your late father, just all into music, and not just your immediate family, but your cousins and all of you all. So like, do you guys ever collaborate? Do you ever how is that?
Oh man, we collaborate all the time. Like we're always with each other. We're always creating on each other. Yeah, we're bouncing ideas. We're always producing, writing on each other's projects. Yeah. So we collaborate all the time, So, and I love those guys, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful.
Yeah, they
all the time.
Y'all learned together growing up.
For sure. And just to see where we are now, I'm just grateful, and I thank God for the growth, and I thank God for the doors that He has opened. But yeah,
I love it. Yeah. Speaking of one of your brothers, Friday has actually opened season 1 of this show, and since then his journey continues to inspire so many people. And as his older brother, watching this from like ground zero, from the front row, how has witnessing his journey inspired you both personally and creatively?
Oh yeah, that's my brother. That's my guy, man. I'm super
Shout out
grateful.
To Friday.
I'm super grateful. I'm just happy. Like, long story short, we always knew my brother was the one. Like, since we were young, we always said it. Like, we're all gifted. We all do music. We all produce, play instruments, whatever. Songwrite, sing. But we always looked at Francis like he was always different than all of us. So, like, what's happening right now is not a surprise to any of us. But we're just super grateful for how it's happening. Yeah. We just thank God for this time and moment. But that's my brother, man. He inspires me. It's crazy because he's my little brother and he inspires me. So it's like when we're creating, I get around him, I'm just inspired sometimes I listen to some of the stuff he does. It makes me, open up the file, some of the old stuff I do just to get it better. But yeah, he inspires me so much, man. I'm just super happy for him. I'm his biggest cheerleader. That's my little bro, man. I'm happy for him.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. And with that, I know that last year wasn't easy for the family, and loss often echoes in our creative work. And so in season 1, Friday opened up on how, your father's passing has, definitely impacted not just him personally, but his music as well. Right. Do you feel as though that grief or that process, also that experience, influenced this upcoming album?
No, it definitely had influence. For example, there's a song on this album, on this upcoming album, that was already going to be kind of a song on the album. It was kind of like a possibility. But it's like when my father died, rest in peace, like that song spoke to me so much. It became like the testimony of my life at that moment, of our lives at that moment. So we put it on the album. It's crazy, like certain songs you love because of the message and, you know, what it's saying. And it might just be a great song, but it's different when a song is your testimony. It kind of like hits different. So definitely on this album, I would definitely say, you know, that influence, you know, a record on the project. And I can't wait for people to hear it. It's beautiful.
I love that. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of all four of you for pushing through, you know. Talking about being proud, what are you most proud of that people might not know about you yet? Jean is so low key, y'all. He is so low. That's what he do. That's all he do is he just.
You talking about that's all I got? That's all I got.
That's what he do. Like he don't speak much unless maybe if he blow you more.
Yeah.
But like,
if you don't know me, you're not gonna get the full me.
But
yeah. If you don't know me, you're not gonna get the full me. But what I'm most proud of is my willingness to keep going. Like,
yeah,
I just never stop. Like, there's so much stuff that goes behind this that people don't see. People just see this. Like, for example, I'm on your talk show right now. People are going to see this interview. They're going to see the beautiful scenery. They're going to see the lighting. But people don't know how much it took for you to get to season 2. You probably got a new camera. You probably got a new light. People don't see how much work goes behind the scenes. You know, the long hours from. I'm just happy, and the most thing I'm proud of is just my willingness to keep going, just to keep going. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely called for this, and I know I'm called for this. So I would never stop, but I'm definitely happy, you know?
Yeah.
That's the most thing I'm happy about, for sure.
If you could speak to someone watching right now who is wrestling with doubt or, you know, just not believing in themselves about their gifts or who's struggling with moving forward, what would you say?
That's a good one.
What would you share?
It's like God don't make no mistakes, and he doesn't make no mistakes when it comes to you. He's not going to start with you. So it's like the same God that created the heaven, the earth, the moon, the stars. It's the same God that said, I'm going to create you. Like, he created you perfect in his own image, you know? So God makes no mistakes. So if you have any doubt, you know, about your calling or your gift, you know, God gave you that for a reason, you know? So start with what you have. Start where you're at. There's never going to be a perfect time. You're never going to have enough resources. So I'll just say start. You know, God makes no mistakes. You know, the same God, again, that created all this, looked at the earth and said, it's missing something. It's missing me and you. That means God made us perfect in his image. So he makes no mistakes. So whatever calling that he put in your heart and on your life, like, just go. It's never going to be a perfect time. Just start where you at. You know what I mean? Just start.
For sure.
For sure.
And last but not least, okay, when can we expect the album? I've been asking him this since like months ago. Yeah. Jean, I need a date. Jean, I need a date. So y'all can help me ask. Jean, we need a date.
We're going to say this summer.
You've been giving me that response.
This summer for sure. Okay. Album this summer for sure. I'm excited. I can't wait for y'all to have it, man. This album is so diverse.
Yeah. So okay, so we know some people may not know, like, all right, so you're a producer on, like, are you like a Ty Tribbett on the album, like a Kirk Franklin, like, are you singing on the album, or are you just kind of like, can we expect to hear your voice? Like, what are we?
What people don't know, like, I've sang on every song on every album.
You sing on what? Wait, this is news to me.
Every song.
You sing?
I don't sing the lead vocal.
But like, you just do
every song on every album you heard, I've sing background vocals. Every song.
Yeah, I'm confused. And so and then you would have somebody like sing the actual part. So
the process of recording background vocals is a few background takes, of course. It's a few people, depending on the record, it's a few people that's laying background vocals. But I've sing on every record. I'm just not the lead vocalist.
Okay.
That's leading the song. But I'm a part of every record. Every record, I'm very hands-on. I sing on every record. I play on every record. I produce every record. I put every record together. So, not to like toot my own horn. I just want you to understand.
Toot your horn. This episode's about tooting your horn.
No. I just want to, y'all to see the process of what's going on. But I'm involved in every record. Would you see me leading a song? No, that's not my calling to be a lead singer. I am a producer, musician. I'll sing background vocals. But no, I'm a part of every record, though.
There we go. I just learned something new, that he is on the background vocals. I did not know that. All right. So, Jean, talk to us. So where could we find you? Where you be hiding at? What are your social media handles?
I don't be hiding, but listen, you can find me on Instagram at Jean LeBlanc, JeanLeblanc with 2 underscores, and follow the group page Road to Restoration. That's Road, the number 2 Restoration on Instagram.
I love it. Jean, thank you so much for being here today. And I'm so grateful that you trusted me and the Creative Spotlight Unplugged platform to share your new album with us. Y'all, please expect the 4th studio album this summer, okay?
This summer. For sure. This summer is coming, I promise.
I love it. All right. And you all, please stay tuned for what we have in store for the remaining of season 2. And you can find me at Tasha Lovely, TASHAA_Lovely, and at Creative Spotlight Unplugged. Okay. And this episode will be streaming everywhere. Thank you so much. And stay tuned for what's next.
Stay tuned, y'all.